I can't believe I'm seeing you in person.
I know.
Oh, finally.
I know. I love the sign in the back. Your name is in headline. You're like, this is so Las Vegas.
Your name was, as we walked in, the guest today on Insight with Chris Van Vliet, Michael Yo.
I know. I feel good. It made me feel special.
I'm trying to think of the last time I saw you in person. We've Zoomed a lot. We've FaceTimed.
Yes.
We've had lots of phone calls.
We almost worked together on New Year's Eve. That fell apart for you.
Yeah. Look good for you.
Oh, it was great. Yeah. I love Nikki Novak. We both know her, and she's doing so well, and I'm happy for her. Hopefully this year we can all be on it. So.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I think the last time I saw you must have been at a junket, though.
I don't remember the last, but I haven't done a junket.
What's the last junket you did?
I haven't done a junket in 4 years.
What was the last one?
I can't remember. One of the last ones was Charlize Theron in Italy or Berlin.
I was not there.
It was something like that.
What movie was that?
I don't know. She played an assassin. Anybody know that movie? She played an assassin.
Lucy.
Was it Lucy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been. But she was awesome. I loved interviewing her. But I went out there and, in entertainment, literally, you're there, they throw a big party, you eat, and then the next day you're home.
Yeah.
Like when I worked for The Insider for CBS and ET, they only fly American Airlines. I was concierge status. I got concierge.
Concierge key.
Yeah, I got that.
Wow.
So I've experienced that life, and now I'm normal. But I'm a Delta guy now. I love Delta. Delta's my jam.
Do you ever, we had so much access with doing junkets and premieres. Do you ever look back at some moments where you go, geez, I was at a party with so-and-so, or I was at a premiere with this person and didn't do anything?
No, the one moment that stood out, and it was a great moment. Kobe Bryant, he did an event. It was a Hublot. He loved watches. So he did a Hublot event. And there's all these corporate heads, and I interviewed him for The Insider. I flew out there, and he flew in a helicopter because it was in Napa. And so you're talking about 50 corporate heads, me and him. So he asked me to have lunch with him so he didn't have to sit with all the corporate heads, And it was just me and him at a table for an hour.
Oh, my God.
Just me and Kobe Bryant. And I go, what's the biggest mistake you made in your career? Because the biggest mistake I made in my career, if I could go back and change anything, is not taking money from these companies that paid me. I would have took stock in their companies. So I would have rather owned part of the company than to take $1 million endorsement deals. So, hey, instead of giving me $10 million, give me X number of stock in your company.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm not on Kobe Bryant's level, but if I ever break through, or when I break through and get to that level, I will be that guy to be like, oh, $10 million? No, give me a percentage of the company.
This is what we're seeing now. I think The Rock's a perfect example
Absolutely.
of this, right? Terramana could have sponsored him. Zoa could have sponsored him, but instead he owns, I'm sure, a pretty large percentage of the company. And now he has no problem promoting it all the time.
And why not own it?
Exactly.
If you're gonna fill up your Instagram with something, you might as well own some of it or all of it. You know?
Speaking of that, you own all of your comedy special.
Yes.
I never thought. Congratulations.
Man,
it's blowing up.
Look, it's on YouTube, and it's pretty amazing because YouTube can be a vicious place with comments. But there's over 400 comments. I think the one negative comment, and I look at all of them, the only negative comment I got is a lady goes, I don't know if it's late, but I'm just too tired to watch it. That was the worst.
That's not even negative.
I know it's not even negative. But it's so much love on YouTube. And I had an experience with my last comedy special that was good, but I didn't own it. I didn't have anything to do with it. This one, I was in the edit bay. I did everything with director. His name is Coach Taylor. So we did everything together. And from start to finish, my hands were all over it. And to see, it just broke 47,000. And to see the people love it, the clips have gone viral. I was a guy that had 3,000 people on YouTube. And in less than 2 weeks now, I got over 20,000, 23,000. And so it really, on the social media game, changed I will say it changed my life, because now people are coming up to me going, hey, can we do something with you? Can we do that with you? Where before, I used it as a dumping ground. I was like, I'm not in that game of YouTube. I'm not in the game of Facebook. But now Facebook makes me a lot of money, and now YouTube is starting to happen.
Facebook's making you a lot of money from the videos you're putting on there?
A lot of money.
Like monetization?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Even though right now on Facebook, this is weird. My podcast clips make me tons of money on Facebook. But this new special where I own everything, for some reason there's a glitch in Facebook, and I can't monetize it because they say there's a copyright claim on my material that I own. So I probably missed out on about $5 to $6 grand this month. Just off those videos.
Gosh.
Just because the videos have millions of views.
Yeah.
And what's different about Facebook and YouTube, which I love YouTube because it's more of a search engine, but the money is incredible on Facebook compared to, like, you do 1 million views on YouTube, you make okay money. Yeah. You do 1 million views on Facebook, you're making $5-6 grand. Well, it's like crazy.
Facebook has that share button, and that's the biggest thing.
Yes.
If you love something on YouTube, you have to go copy the URL, send it to your friend. On Facebook, if you like something, you just hit that share button. Instantly, It's on your wall.
Done. So, and I think I can't wait because I have a tier plan where, like, after a year, I'm gonna put my special after all the clips and everything. Didn't do it on Facebook, and then hopefully it catches a second because I own it. I can do that.
It's not even on Facebook right now.
No, it's just on YouTube. Because I wanted to maximize each one.
Yeah.
So I want to see what it will do on YouTube, and then I want to see what it does on Facebook. And that's pretty good research for myself because I'm recording another one. I want to put one out every year and a half.
Yeah.
So I'll have all the numbers from both, so I know how to strategize.
So what was the plan to do this on your own and do it on YouTube? Because before you answer that, I think a lot of people go, well, I could put anything on YouTube and it'll either get watched by millions of people or, maybe it gets watched by not a lot of people.
Yeah, and that was the scary part.
Sure.
But my thing is, because I had, my last one went on Amazon, right? And it's been out for 3.5 years and it only has 160 comments. And half of those were people I begged to watch it. And, this one has over 400 in less than 2 weeks. So it's very organic, I feel. And I met with some people at YouTube. It's a search engine. And the more people that like it, the higher it goes up in the ranks, and then they suggested more.
Yeah.
So I was like, I knew the special. After I shot it, I was like, this is great. I didn't even pitch it to Netflix or because I wanted to put it out March 17th, 2 years after I went into the hospital with COVID. So that date was very important to me. I shot it in the middle of February. So we didn't have much time to turn it around.
Wow.
And we did. I shot it like February 7th, right? So we didn't have much time to turn it around. So I didn't even pitch it. And I knew even if Netflix or Comedy Central or if somebody wanted it, they wouldn't turn it around that fast. Mm-hmm. I did it myself. And I go, Sam Morrell, Mark Norman, some other comedians have put their stuff on YouTube. And it's changed their life. Literally, they've gone from selling no tickets to selling out like clubs every weekend and small venues. Yeah. So YouTube for comedy right now is it.
What was it before? Was it Netflix?
It was Netflix.
If you had the Netflix comedy special?
I honestly, I when I first started promoting the special, fans, not my fans, just fans of whatever show I was on, they watched it and they would hit me up going, you're totally underselling your special. Because I was very humble and be like, I think you'll like, look, I will tell you this. You will laugh from beginning to end. Because now I have the feedback.
Yeah.
And to me, it's one of the best specials in the last 5 years. Like, it's so good. And to see all the response from from YouTube and Facebook, the clips, everywhere it goes, people are loving it and sharing it. And it's huge. It's changed my life already in just 2.5 weeks. It's changed my life.
I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you, bro.
It's been just, like you said, just 2.5 weeks. The great thing about YouTube, especially with content that's super shareable like that, is this will continue to live on for
it's a slow burn,
months,
man.
Yes, months and years to come.
Yeah, and that's the thing is also every special I do, it's a legacy piece for my family, for my kids. My son's 5, my daughter's 2. They'll look back at this and go, oh, that was my dad when I'm long and gone, so they can show their kids. So that's why I decided to own the content too. Because who knows, 50 years from now when I'm gone, my kids may say, oh, we want to do something. Since we own the footage, let's do a tribute thing or whatever. We own it. And moving forward, I think I will always own it and always put it on YouTube or a platform. Because the last special I shot, they shot it and then I didn't see anything till it was out. This one, I saw every cut. And that's why I feel like the biggest compliment I get is like you can feel the energy in the room. It's just not me on stage. It's crowd shots. You can feel the energy, the laughs, and that's what I love about it.
So logistically, what do you have to pay for here? You have to pay for the venue, you have to pay for camera, editing.
Everything. You pay for it out of pocket.
Yeah.
But I was smart enough, and any comedian
That's
out
a big
there,
investment, though.
It is a big investment, but I had great friends like Joel Baccaroff. I had Matt Coleman. They They gave me Tempe Improv for a great price. They started me in comedy at the Miami Improv. They own Miami Improv. They own Fort Lauderdale Improv. That was at the Hard Rock Casino at one time. They just opened Dania Improv. But they gave me the room for a great price. I found an up-and-coming director. I knew he was hungry because he reminded me of myself. Like, I do – basically, to get into the industry, you would do anything. You just want your shot. Yeah. And he was that guy. Yeah. And he shot it beautifully, and I knew he would. And just the team came together. And if any comic out there is listening, shoot your special in a market where you can sell tickets and have a great weekend. Because I left Tempe that weekend, paid off the special.
Oh, yeah.
From all the tickets I sold, from all the merch I sold. So I was walking out with $0 made, but everything was paid for.
That's perfect.
And that's all you can ask.
So everyone sitting in the audience knows they're there for your special.
Knows they're there. We did Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We did 5 shows. So Thursday was a practice show, no cameras.
Okay.
Just the directors and stuff walking through. Friday and Saturday, 2 shows a night, and they were all taped. Because I owned everything. So I was like, if the crew's there, you know how it works. If a crew's there half a day or a full day, they get paid the same.
Right.
So I was like, I'm going to just shoot both. So I shot both each night. I had it after the first one. I believe the one that we actually put out is the first cut. And then for SiriusXM, big shout outs to them. They're playing my special on their channels. I did a clean version. So the last show, the 4th show, last one on Saturday night was a clean version. So because I know clean versions get more play on the radio than dirty versions.
Yeah.
So I kind of had a strategy through it all, and it worked out beautifully. I tell you, the expensive part was I have a phenomenal PR company. And Rob Greenwald, he's phenomenal. He has like Jim Jeffries and everything, but he's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But he got me on Good Morning America. I was on Good Morning America promoting my special. What a dream.
Hold on. You're on Good Morning America promoting your special that you own that's on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
and that's worth the money I spent right there.
Yeah.
But they've gotten me tons of press, and like I said, it's 47,000 views right now, but it's climbing so fast, and what feels so good is betting on yourself. That's the thing. Joe Coy brought me into stand-up, and he was like, you're at that point where you got to bet on yourself, because once you start winning on your own, then everybody else wants to be a part. And I feel, let me tell you, just 2.5 weeks, and this is what I'm telling anyone that's betting on themselves or thinking about it, do it. Because in 2.5 weeks, so many doors have opened. Huge meetings are coming down the line because these massive celebrities, these massive production companies have watched my special. And I just had a meeting. I can't say the people, but I just had a huge meeting yesterday, and it all generated from that special. They were going, we would have never known about you until we saw this special, but this shows us you can do this. So let's work together on a project.
But you've been in comedy now how long?
I'm going on 11 years, which is fairly, in the comedy world, that's fairly new.
It is.
Yeah.
But don't you also kind of feel like after 11 years that it's this that's finally getting people to notice you?
Well, this is what I want people to notice me for. Because if you're in entertainment news, like, people know me from that. There's no more I could have done. Yeah. I worked for every channel.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch,
you interviewed every celebrity.
Every celebrity. Yeah. If you watch that type of news, you know who I am.
Sure.
Right? Now I'm breaking into acting, so that's new and exciting for me. But stand-up now is becoming, over the last 3 years, even during the pandemic, I changed all my socials to comedian. Because people always introduce me as a host comedian. We're like, oh, you're a host and a comedian. Mm-hmm. And that kind of, it kind of downplay the comedian side. So I go, any show I'm on, it has to promote I'm a comedian. I don't care. It's not a host. Yeah. I don't even, like, of course I hosted all those shows, but that's not the first part they promote now. Well, now when I go on shows, they're like, comedian Michael Yo.
Well, and as you and I know, and we've talked about before, almost anybody can be a host. It takes a rare breed to be a comedian.
Yes. Anybody can be a host. So I tell people all the time, it's not that hard. It is not that hard to be a host.
So when we take this back 11 years ago, you're having a very successful career, flying all around the world, interviewing some of the biggest stars on a national TV show. It takes a lot of courage to get on stage for the first time.
Yes.
What was that thought process like? And then what made you finally pull the trigger?
Well, I was on Chelsea Lately, and there were comedians always around me. And I was the reporter on the show, so I wasn't even supposed to be funny. I was just supposed to defend the celebrity. Because my job was not to talk crap about the celebrity because I had to interview them. So I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I just defended them, and then I became the celebrity ass kisser on the show. So everybody would talk about me the whole show and just dog on me, which made me even bigger. So then one day I decided to tweet, and this is when people went to Twitter. I go, you know what? I'm going to try stand-up. Chelsea got a wind of it. Next time I was on the show, they put the tweet up. They all made fun of me. She goes, there's no way you're that funny. I did it, crushed it at the Miami Improv, but because I did it in a place where I knew I would be comfortable. At the time, I had a huge radio show in Miami, sold out my first show ever, and did 15 minutes because the crowd was so nice.
15 minutes?
My first time ever. I was just having fun with the crowd. Yeah. But they were there because they were fans of the radio show, so it's so supportive. It's like doing it in front of your family, and they were all like Miamians or Miami-nites or whatever they call them. But it was so comforting. I did so well. The owner of the club, Joel, was like, "Oh, why don't you open it up for the Wayans brothers the next night?" So my second night ever, I'm opening up for Marlon and Shawn Wayans, and they were the first people to put me, like big comedians, to put me on. So my second night ever doing comedy.
Was there something on that second night? Like, those guys are legends.
Legends.
Was there something that they said or maybe did that you went, oh, I that has really helped advance my process?
They just gave me the shot. That's what I tell everybody, man. And that's why I'm trying to pass that down. In this special, a director that's never shot a special.
Has he ever shot comedy?
No. I mean, he does for friends, like just little things here and there. But this was his first special. But in my mind, I'm like, yo, I've been on movie sets. I've been on sitcom sets. It's not hard to shoot a stage. Just put some cameras up and we'll cut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at the same time, it's not hard, but the vision of like how you move the cameras and all that, he had it. I mean, this dude's so talented. And after my special, he's now shooting Angela Johnson's special. I'm telling you, in the comedy game, he's going to be a huge director. And I love that I was the first person to get that shot. Because here's the biggest piece of advice I'm going to tell someone that ever moves to Hollywood, and I got it from one of the biggest casting directors in the world. She's done like Star Trek, Star Wars, big shows. She goes, nobody ever wants to be the first one to give you a chance, but they love being second, third, fourth. They love that. So if you can find someone to give you that first shot, that's huge.
That's so good.
Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice that you've been given as a comedian, and who'd it come from?
It came from Joe Coy. He goes, if you sit down to write a joke, stop. If you sit down to write a real story, that's where you want to be.
Oh, that's so good.
Because what I found out in comedy is people outgrow jokes, but they don't outgrow you. So if they're coming to me to hear about my family every show and how that advances, like, oh, we saw a special last year. Let's see where his family's at this year. Now they're invested in you. They're not invested necessarily in, you need to be funny.
Yeah.
But they're not invested in the jokes as much as they're invested in you. Now, there were comedians that came out a long time ago. It was all about the jokes. And those tend to fall off. Like, look at all the greats. They're all about, they talk about family. They talk about personal stories. What comedian besides Rodney Dangerfield, and there's probably others because I'm not a comedy connoisseur.
Yeah.
But that we mentioned today, Rodney Dangerfield is the one, hey, take my mother. He was that one punchline joke.
Yeah.
But like Eddie Murphy, Dave Chappelle, Richard Pryor,
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
It's all, well, Seinfeld's more observational.
Yeah.
He's the kind of one that broke through. But most comedians, most comedians talk about personal issues, not observational. You know what I mean? Where you get to know them. So my point in my specials is I want to become a real life sitcom. If they're not going to give me a sitcom, I'm making my own. And I'm putting it out 30 minutes a year. So every year you're going to get a new episode of my life done through stand-up.
Do your parents ever go, Michael, please don't share this story?
Oh, they say that. And then when I don't share it, they're like, oh, my mom's like, oh, why you no share a story? Because you told me not, well, I like it. My mom loves it. My mom did an autograph session after one of my shows.
No,
like people were
she
coming to
didn't.
her after the show. It's like, oh my God, you're amazing. Oh yeah, she's a celebrity at my show.
You've made your parents famous.
My parents have a video out, and it has something like on TikTok. This is my parents on TikTok, right? It's just an interview with them. My dad talks about being in a closet, not gay, but he talks about he sits in a closet all day and does work, and the closet is like no bigger than like a quarter of this room. But No, because he heats it up because my mom likes to keep the house cold. So he has a heater in the closet and he warms with it. And he sits in there and looks at stocks and he stays in the closet. So he talks about this and it has over 200,000 views on TikTok. People love my parents because they're just funny, man. This is the conversations that come out. It's just so funny.
Well, it's so relatable too. Like when someone sees that on TikTok, they can hit that share button on TikTok and send it to any of their friends who could relate to that.
It's so funny because a lot of parents, like what I'm reading after seeing all the, I sent it to my mom because my dad has a certain room and he just stays in that room. Or I'm finding out a lot of fathers have closets they stay in. I love it. You know what's so funny is men brag about a man cave. And literally that is like 300 square feet of a whole house. We brag about having 300 square feet in a whole house. How pathetic is that?
Well, it's because the rest of the house is just whatever you'd like, honey. Sounds great.
100%. 100%. The house, like my wife's man cave is the whole house. Her wife cave or whatever is the whole house.
When I moved to, so growing up in Toronto and then I lived in Cleveland for a long time, those houses have basements. And right.
So that's your man cave.
All my friends who still live back in Canada have the whole basement. That's their man cave. We watch the games down there.
See, next house I get, I'm gonna have them build a basement.
I guess you could build a basement in Nevada.
I don't know, but we're doing it.
You couldn't do it in Florida.
No,
'cause the basement would just be
flooded.
Exactly.
That's a great idea. Just put it underground, so then you can just lock it up.
That's
and
it.
Can get in.
Yep. You're just down there.
I love it,
man.
I would live there.
So are you working on stuff constantly? New material?
Yeah. Any conversation I'm in, anything, observation I make in my life, if somebody laughs at something, it mentally goes in my head. I may not remember it right away, but it'll come back if it was funny.
Do you write it down in your iPhone notes?
I've never written down a joke. I just go up there and work on it. Yeah, like my wife brought up something. She loves, like, this isn't a joke. This is just something that happened yesterday. My wife loves Usher, the song Confessions. She loves that album, which blows me away because the whole album is about cheating, right? So I go, why do women love, like, The Bachelor, where a guy hooks up with a bunch of different women, and, like, they love stuff about being cheated on. And I go, dudes don't like that. Like, you remember that song, Don't Want No Short Man came out? No dude is singing that in a club. You know what I mean? Like, I love this jam. Don't want no short, So it's just those little things where you'll get an idea like that, and then you'll just make it into a bigger idea. You'll start peeling it apart and then go, why do women like that and men don't like this? So it becomes a whole different bit where it starts with the music, but then it's like, you know what? And women like this, and men hate that. And men and women are, so in my mind right now, I'm talking this out. This is all coming to me right now, but it's kind of like that little door you open is so much. Women like this, men don't like that. That could become a 10-minute bit if you find funny things.
Yeah.
All you need is like 3 or 4 funny things to compare, and then you break it down and add jokes to it. So now that becomes a real life bit from a real bit.
How do you work on your transitions? Because the best comedians transition so seamlessly from one story to another, and you're so good at it.
I'm a storyteller, so in my mind, like when I do The Cellar, you're coming to The Cellar tonight.
Can't wait.
It won't be in order because I only do that for specials. I'll be throwing different jokes because it's practice to me. So when you come to The Cellar, you should expect to see people try out new jokes. You should see comedy that's being, I tell everybody, it's like being a reporter, a writer for a newspaper. It's your first draft. And so many comedians get torn apart because of their first draft if you see them in the club. It's not final. Yeah. So you're seeing us work out stuff. When you see it on a special, that's when you can criticize or whatever you want, because that's final. This is like, here's the paper, read it, go. But before that, in a club, you shouldn't ever criticize because we're working stuff out.
How often are you getting on stage?
I'm getting on stage at least some weeks 14 times. I do 2 shows a night. I go every night because it fits our schedule with our family. I'm with the family all day. I get to work about 7:30 and I leave at 11.
And you're getting paid when you're...
I get paid from The Cellar, and then I sell merch out. I meet all the fans, sell merch after the show. It's living in Vegas has become a dream come true, where it's given me, The Cellar has, Comedy Cellar, which is huge in New York, has really came through, and that's why I was able to get this special done even during a pandemic, because I was practicing the material. Yeah. And I'm doing a new 30-minute special every year. I'm already 15 minutes into my next special, And I'm not going to shoot it till January or February next year.
So you always hear people talking about like, oh, I wake up 1 hour earlier now, which means I now have 7 extra hours in a week that I can work. If you're going on stage twice a day, every day, 14 times a week, think of how much further ahead in that whole Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours rule
100%.
thing. Think of how much further along you are. Sure, you're only 11 years into it. Quote, only 11 years into it.
But my stage time is probably like 15 to 16 right now.
If not more.
If not more. Because I remember Russell Peters, one of the biggest comedians in the world, told me.
A fellow Canadian as well.
A fellow Canadian, sells out all over the world.
Yes.
Told me that you're going to do a lot of things faster because you're going to have more stage time than a lot of people. A lot of people go, I've been doing comedy 10 years, but their stage time is like 3. Because it's hard, because you start with 3 minutes, you go to 7, 10, 15, you're fighting for spots everywhere. Me, luckily I had a name in TV, so they wanted me on shows.
Sure.
So my time moved so fast, and this is when I knew this special was special. I love Bert Kreischer. Like, he's one of my boys. He flew in, because now he's on jets, private jets and all. He landed. This is like this is the day before I put it out. He texted me at 5 a.m. It's like, dude, this is special. This is it right here. You know, and all these big comedians are promoting. Jim Jeffries just put it out. Ronnie Chang just put, like, so, and even my friends that see me from the beginning, close friends, they saw me in Dallas last week and they go, all right, it happened. Whatever it was, you've leveled up. You could tell now you're a comedian. Before you were a comedian, you were funny, but it's just a difference. Like, it's this comfortability where I know I'm going to go on and do well.
So
you know,
what's the next level from here then? Is it acting?
Acting, here's the thing. To me, it's all the same. You know, it all feeds, anything I do moving forward feeds comedy, stand-up comedy, and ticket sales.
But there's a lot of comedians that never break out into the acting world.
I love acting. Like, I was lucky enough, I have an Apple show coming out in a couple months. I can't say when, but Bonnie Hunt, the legendary Bonnie Hunt, wrote it, produced it, directed it with Michelle Manning, who did Breakfast Club. Like, it's such an amazing, people directed it. Gene Siegel was in that. But anyway, it's Sarah Drew. She was on Grey's Anatomy. She played April Kempner. The girl that plays our daughter is Carson Rhodes. And I'm letting everybody know, Carson Rose. Remember that name. She will win an Oscar before she's 20. She's 11 now. The girl's phenomenal. You have Ashley Williams and Darren Brooks that's on General Hospital or something like that. I think he's on one of those soaps. But it's so fun to be on set with these people. And I think in acting, that will definitely open a lot of doors. All this is opening a lot of doors for me. You know what I mean?
Are you working on acting as much as you're working on comedy?
You
have an acting coach?
I do have an acting coach, and I'm not, but I do auditions a lot, which is working.
Sure.
But I'm not going to a
It's also
class.
Heartbreaking. That's what auditions are.
Yeah, well, and this is what's so great about comedy is when I lived in LA, you would get all these no's in acting or whatever you did, hosting. Mm-hmm. But then when you know you can go up that night and get 400 yeses, it's a lot easier to take that no, because in your mind, because you have an ego, you're like, oh, these people just haven't caught up yet.
Yeah.
Because real people like me.
Yeah.
You know the audience you're trying to get?
Yeah.
They like me. So y'all haven't caught up. You may not think I'm right for that, which is fine. But I know me being me, people like. And now I'm starting to see that catch up. And hopefully it keeps going.
So it's just a matter now of getting that. Like, you've had a lot of breaks, a
a lot of breaks.
Now it's just a matter of getting that one like huge break, like the Kevin Hart break.
Yeah. Have you ever read the book The Tipping Point?
Yes. Another Malcolm Gladwell book.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm on that tip. It's just I'm one project, one video, one something away from just going bananas. You know what I mean? Nobody knows what it is, so that's why you got to keep putting stuff up. It could be on this podcast. Judd Apatow could be listening to this going, oh, you know what?
His wife did hit on me during an interview.
See there?
Yeah. That went viral.
But she hit on me too. I mean, that's not she hits on everybody.
Did she ask you to take your shirt off?
Well, she asked me more. No, I'm just playing. No.
Whoa.
I wish I could tell you this story, but I can't.
You can tell me off camera.
Yeah, but I had a celebrity's wife go in hard. Like, when I say like hard, where the publicist had to rip her away from me. Like, was touchy-feely, handsy all over me.
Whoa.
On a red carpet. And people were like, oh my God. And she was married to one of the biggest stars in the world.
Can I guess who it is?
No, no, not at all. And it was such a moment. And somebody has that on camera. Somebody has it on, but they've been divorced now. But somebody has that moment on camera and be like, this is the moment they got a divorce. I mean, because literally probably a couple months after that, they got a divorce. So I knew they weren't on good terms by the way she came up to me on a red carpet.
That's so funny.
I was like, it's kind of one of those moments like, like I'm mic'd and people are watching this.
There's a camera right there.
Right there. Like, and you're on a red carpet and it's your red carpet. So anyway.
I think you're going to be able to continue to get work forever because you're going to look 32 for the rest of your life.
I am 137 years old right now. But black and Asian does that. Black don't crack, Asian no raisin. That's what they say. And I'm both, man.
But seriously, you look so young.
Do I?
Oh, yeah. Especially on camera.
Oh, no, I look good on camera. In real life.
Look at this.
Let's see.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. When people don't know you, what do they think your ethnicity is? Because you could be anything.
I'm Puerto Rican. Yeah. I'm Dominican. When I go to
Hawaiian.
When I go to Hawaii, they're like, welcome home. I'm like, I'm not from here, dude. I'm not Texas. No, but I'm anything. And that's what I love is that, also this TV show I'm in, it's about a mixed family. But we don't talk about race. You just see the representation on the screen.
Yeah.
I never had that growing up. And this will blow you away. 1967, it was finally legal to be married. Interracially in America in 1967, which is not that long ago. So a couple years after that, my parents got married and had me. And then I was like, oh, now I know, being older, why I never saw mixed race TV shows. Because it wasn't legal to make those shows until many years later where people felt comfortable. I don't know if you remember this. There was a Cheerios commercial about 8 years ago, 2015, that had a white woman and a mixed kid in the kitchen, a black father on the couch in the living room. And it was so sweet. It said, Cheerios is good for your heart, or whatever cereal it is good for your heart.
Yeah.
So the mixed kid goes from the kitchen to the living room, gives it to her father and puts it by his heart and goes, oh, this is good for your heart. People lost their minds and saying, like, those type of people lost their mind and they had to take the commercial off. They're like, you shouldn't be showing this on TV, mixed race family. Yeah.
What?
And this was 2015.
Who cares?
This was 2015, bro. 2015.
Well, you're in an interracial marriage yourself.
Oh my God. Our families are everywhere, bro. Like, I'm black and Asian. My wife is white. Our kids are white, black, and Asian. We got pandas running around. I mean, it's bananas. Our family is beautiful. My dad is black. My mom's Asian. My wife's parents are from Canada. One is from Canada. Her mom's from Canada. Her dad's from Nebraska. Like, it's all over the place.
Your kids are beautiful.
They are.
Yeah.
It's
going to be a lot of headaches in 15 years.
It is. Look, my son he looks just like me, but better looking. My daughter, though, looks just like my wife, but with bigger lips. Like, she got my lips. She will be a model. Wow. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like when parents are with their little daughter and they comment how beautiful your daughter is in front of their own daughter, get out of here. That daughter is it's crazy how beautiful my kids are. I'm so lucky, man. I don't know. I didn't, my wife is way better looking than me. Like, my wife, my friends, how'd you get her? I don't know.
Well, how did you get her?
I don't know. My wife is the nicest, sweetest, selfless.
I've only met her once, but she's great.
Oh, amazing. It makes you want to be married. You know what I mean?
I met her at the Moana junket before we interviewed The Rock.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about my wife. She makes me want to be married. A lot of friends I have, they're like, I'm married. But I love being married. But it's my personality too.
I never want to be that husband that's like, I gotta go back to the old ball and chain.
Yeah, no.
Well, maybe you should have picked a better life partner then.
Exactly. I love going home. But I have a whole bit about it on stage. I love predictability. I like things when I'm older being predictable. When you're young, you don't like predictability. That's why you're going out with random people. You're going out at night.
Yeah.
You like the excitement. I don't like excitement. This is my excitement for today, Chris. This podcast. This
very
is
unpredictable.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I could ask you anything.
That's fine. but I like just walking through the hotels, like it's too much. Because one thing in Vegas, like these fancy hotels right here,
Yeah.
people dress up to the nines. Women are looking the best they ever look. The guys are
sure.
trying to pick up these women. And I'm like, it's too much of a show for me. I just wear all black. I wear this every day, Chris.
That's a good.
I have like
uniform.
5 different. This is my uniform. I have 5 different versions of it, and I wear it every day. Like I don't want to think. I'm not trying to show off. The only thing I collect is Jordans, and so I'll have on a different pair of Jordans. But I'm so simple right now, and it feels so great.
Those are good shoes, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Should I show them off?
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
There they are.
Yeah. Woo! Those J's.
Do you feel like you've been really, really close on a project and then it just didn't pan out?
Oh,
for
I
you?
was told I was going to get this project the day before, and we're going to sign the contracts the next day. Network calls me and goes, we had to go with a celebrity. Because right now in hosting, it's all about celebrities. You got to be a celebrity to get a hosting. They don't want host anymore. If you have to have
this. Welcome to my world.
No,
Yeah.
it's true though.
Yeah.
Like you have to be a celebrity. So I don't even lean on I have an agent for hosting, but I know the environment and what they're looking for right now. So at least I'm conscious of it. I don't fight to get hosting gigs they want a celebrity on. I've been on so many pilots that they've gone with a celebrity, and that's fine. It's a trend.
Yeah.
Like there will never be a Pat Sajak, a Alex Trebek anymore, a host that's just a host that comes out of nowhere. You have to do something else to get the hosting gig. Look at Ken Jeong's on 197 TV shows. And I love Ken. He's one of my best friends, but he hosts everything on Fox. Good for him. Get that money. But he's a big movie star. He was a big TV star. I mean, you got to be that level to get hosted. Like Craig Robinson, one of my good friends that's a stand-up. He's in every Pizza Hut commercial. This dude has like 19 commercials on TV.
Yeah.
They're not casting normal people anymore.
The funny thing is there's a lot of people who are getting more recognized for their commercials, like J.K. Simmons.
Yes.
The Farmers Insurance guy. He won an Oscar, and people just know him as the Farmers Insurance guy.
Well, I mean, let's talk about these award shows. Like, it's just celebrities, the industry celebrating each other. That's all it is. And most of the movies that win, nobody has seen except the industry. Yeah. So, I mean, of course.
That was a good movie that he won. He won for Whiplash.
Oh, that was a phenomenal movie.
Phenomenal movie. He's so good at it.
But nobody saw it. I think it did okay, but what I'm saying is when it's an industry award, no mainstream doesn't care about it.
Yeah.
Actually it's probably opposite. They go against it. If it's an the Oscars voted this, you will get a bump in that movie, but a lot of times people are like, I'm over Hollywood. And then the Chris Rock and Will Smith thing didn't help. It just kind of amplified what people were saying. They're entitled, they're this. Yeah. And then a dude slaps a dude and gets to sit front row at a show. And
then gets a standing ovation.
And then so it kind of reinforces what those people thought. Yeah. Even though I don't think it's like that. I mean, it's entitled, but I think it does do a lot of good. And I don't think Will Smith, even though it was horrible what he did, should be judged for the rest of his life by the slap, even though it will come up. But he's done so much bodies of work. You've interviewed him. Such a nice guy.
So great. Yeah. Unfortunately, though, not everybody has seen every Will Smith movie.
But it's not about movies. I'm talking about as a person.
Right.
Like people shouldn't say Will Smith is a horrible person because of that one slap.
Right.
If that was the case, we're all horrible because we've all done something that bad or worse in real life.
If we were all judged by our worst moment, we'd all be canceled.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't defend what he did. Violence is never the answer. But I'm also smart enough to say Will Smith shouldn't be judged as a person for the rest of his life, like for the life he's lived till that point by that slap, if that makes... I don't even know if I'm wording that.
That makes sense. Unfortunately, though, the clip has gone viral. It was played on news stations
it's
forever, right? It's all over YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and everything. That unfortunately, I feel like this is going to be the Tom Cruise jumping on the couch moment. This is going to be the Kanye grabbing the mic away from Taylor Swift moment. That whatever their body of work was, you're going to be remembered by that viral moment that was played over and over and over again.
Remembering that moment and defining him as a person is two different things. Like Kanye, like Tom Cruise jumping on the couch, okay, he was crazy at that moment, or whatever you wanted to say
He
about him.
was in love was the true story.
Yeah,
there.
okay.
That was him announcing that he loved Katie Holmes.
Okay, great.
Kind of crazy, but still.
But great. But he still has a career and he's still moving on. And a lot of people that probably know him wouldn't be like, oh, he's not that guy. Like, I've interviewed Will Smith. I would say Will Smith knows who I am. And I think he's been so phenomenal to me for 15 years. Yeah. And I'm not defending him for what he did. But I also believe if you make a mistake, the future shouldn't hold that. He was a terrible person his whole life because of that slap. You know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean.
But I know what you're saying, that every moment, every Oscars now, it's going to come up to slap.
Of course.
And it's terrible for Chris Rock because every Oscars, all I'm going to remember is him like, on camera like that, like being slapped. So you're going to be the guy that got slapped at the Oscars for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I feel bad for Questlove.
Yeah.
Questlove won that Oscar that Chris Rock was presenting.
Yeah.
And nobody remembers that.
You know what Questlove feels like right now? He feels like Christina Aguilera when Britney and Madonna kissed. Because Christina Aguilera was there too. And people are like, hey, they forgot about me.
Or he feels like whoever else was performing with Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl that year.
Absolutely.
And we don't even know who that was.
Exactly. He felt like Coldplay when they performed with Katy Perry, and then I think Beyonce came out or Missy Elliott. Yeah.
So what do you think's the other thing? Like for me, for example, if you got to layer that other thing onto, if anybody can be a host, and you got to have that extra thing. I'll never forget you saying to me on a junket bus like 8 years ago that you were like, as soon as I started doing comedy, I started getting so many more auditions.
Yes.
People started taking me so much more seriously.
100%.
And I'm like, oh, great. Like I probably should have taken your advice 8 years ago.
You know what was interesting? When I would go into rooms for auditions, because I didn't do a lot of acting, but occasionally I would get something. Literally, the casting director would look at me and go, oh, you're a host. Okay, go ahead. Like, it was like, oh, you're a host. Okay. Go ahead. Now, when I go into castings, they're like, when I lived in LA, they were like, oh my God, I saw you at the Laugh Factory or Comedy Store or Melrose. You're so funny. Go ahead. We want to see what you got to say.
Wow.
So it's comedians are respected so much by the industry as far as acting.
Yeah.
I was on the set of Modern Family when it was Modern Family, the peak. I would never forget it. Ty Burrell, I believe his name, and Julie Bowen. And they knew I did comedy because somebody said they saw me that was on set. Like, how do you do that? Like, we get our stuff written and we just say it, but to go up there by yourself, and it blew me away because actors know how hard they get stuff written for them. You just got to execute it, and it takes a talent to do that. But what I love about comedy is the stage doesn't care who you are, man. It's the only place in Hollywood I felt like it was no judgment. If you're funny, you're funny. I could go after Chris Rock, before Bill Burr, after Bill Burr. Yeah. If you're funny, I went after in New York at Gotham Comedy Club. I went after Jerry Seinfeld 3 times and crushed. He crushed. Yeah. I crushed because the stage doesn't care who you are. It just wants you to be funny, and the crowd just cares if you're funny. And it's almost like stand-up to me is the only moment everything's equal in the whole world. The whole world. Yes, if you're a celebrity, you will get love for like a minute or two, but then you got to be funny or they'll turn on you. I've seen rooms like that.
It's such a wild profession because it is your job to get in front of a crowd of strangers, hold a microphone, and convince them that your thoughts are funny.
Yes. And a lot of them had crappy days that day.
Yeah.
Like,
you got to win them over now.
Well, here's what's interesting. I remember Joe Coy would come back from tour. And this is before I started doing headlining. He goes, I'm so tired. And I understand the travel part, but I go, what is it about? He goes, it's just draining performing. And as I started doing it, I kind of understand. Well, now I know it's because you're transferring so much energy. You're giving all your good energy to people and they're taking it. And they're giving you laughs, but their negative energy is going somewhere too. So I believe in energies. I believe you can have a room full of people in a bad mood. One person can come in and light up the whole room and change the whole tone. Yeah. Just like the opposite. Yeah. You could have a room that everybody's having fun and then one a-hole comes in and you're like, ugh, and it changes the whole mood. So I think it's a big transfer of energy where a comic is up there trying to be funny. And if I had a bad day, this guy got to make me laugh. So at the beginning, I'm giving him negative energy.
Yeah.
And then it starts to change because he has to give me more energy.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel that energy process doesn't happen when a comic's up there and is not confident because he's not, you know, it's just a weird, to me, it's all about energy. And now I understand why people are so drained because you're giving all yourself to the crowd. And they're sometimes giving you all of them, but sometimes they're just giving you the bad and you got to take it.
Yeah.
You're absorbing everything.
The interesting thing about being a comedian is there's a lot of actors in LA. You know this.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You can say to an actor like, oh, have I seen you in anything? Or what was the last show or movie you were in? And you get a lot of, well, I auditioned for this and I auditioned for this. When you're a comedian, if I say to you, when was the last time you performed? And your answer isn't like something within the last month.
Yeah.
Are you really a comedian?
But I mean, so many people that, look, since I'm in acting now, I understand what they were saying. But if you look at it from a bird's eye view, if you're not doing it and getting paid, you're not an actor. You're not a comedian. You know, there's a lot of people. That's like saying that today. That's like saying I got a podcast. Everybody got a podcast. But
I always say it's the best and worst thing.
Yeah, but you're not doing a podcast unless people are watching it and seeing your content. Yeah, you know, like you do a podcast, but that doesn't, you know, you could do comedy. You could have done it once in your life and say I'm a comedian. Like when I lived in LA, people was like, I'm an actor. I go, what have you been at? Nothing. I'm in class. And it's like, fine, there's no judgment, but can you call yourself an actor when you've never been in something? But I guess you can.
What I'm saying in comedy is if you wanted to get up on a stage tonight in whatever city that you live in, anyone, not up and coming comedian, you could get up on a stage.
No, you can't.
Really?
No, it's tough.
You couldn't get to an open mic?
No, it's tough because they have lines for open mic. It's so hard. See, one thing that benefited me, I was on Chelsea, I was on E. I skipped that line.
Yeah.
And I was lucky because I remember Chelsea telling me, hey, you're going to get a lot of opportunities nobody else gets in stand-up. Like, you'll be skipping a lot of lines. So just bust your ass and work hard at it because you don't want to be the celebrity that shows up to places that are horrible on stage.
Yeah.
And so I took that to heart. That's why I don't have to go up 14 times a week at the Cellar, but I enjoy it and I love it. When I tell you I love it, it's part of me. Yeah. It's part of me. And I love it so much. So for the people that are just coming out, it's hard to get stage. I talk to these comics all the time because there may be an open mic, right? You got every comic in town trying to do that open mic because that open mic will open the door for them being a host at that club. So they use the open mics to see who's funny. And then from that host, you move to feature and then you headline eventually, you know. But it's so hard because you got every comic that wants to be a stand-up. They got 2 hours and each comic does 3 minutes, right? Yeah. So you're talking about maybe 30 comics in a night doing 3 minutes. And what can you really do in 3 minutes?
Right, yeah.
You know, so, but that's 30 comics out of probably like 300-400 in that city that want to perform. And then nobody else is putting them up.
When you look back at your old stuff, what's the biggest shift that you've made?
The comedy's just better. I mean, it's written better. It's intelligent. Like my first comedy special, I tell everybody, and it's only 3.5 years. I've grown so much. It's like a Taylor Swift song. Fun, poppy. Everybody can dance to it. Doesn't offend people. My new one doesn't offend people, but it's written so much better. It's just a different level. Like if you watched them back to back, you'd be like, yo, you could really see it. My friends have seen it. Like comics have seen it. It's just a different level that I'm operating at where I'm comfortable going before anybody. I'm like, you know, I don't know, where before I didn't have that confidence, but you get it for practicing. And I'm putting in hours. I'm putting in hours a week.
Is it also because you got so much more material now?
No, because you can have a lot of crappy material. It's just I'm smarter about it. I found you know what it is? After COVID, after almost dying from it, I found my voice. And I found that when I shot my first special, which is called Blasian, if you want to watch it, I did a lot of running around on stage, like a lot of walking, pacing, because Joe Coy was my mentor in comedy. So I was like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do. Then after I beat COVID, for 9 months, I wanted to get on stage, but I couldn't really function that well. Everything was shut down. So when I got back on stage, I was like, yo, let me sit down. And then from sitting down, I found people were more engaged with my content because I was writing better jokes for myself. And I found out I'm more of a sit-down storyteller. Like, I want to be the Bill Cosby before the rape. You know, like, I want to be that dude where I go on stage, sit down, and tell family stories, you know?
Yeah.
That's where it's, I want to be like I love Jim Gaffigan. I want to be a cool, like, my version of Jim Gaffigan, but not clean. Like, I'm clean, but I'm not super clean.
Yeah.
You know, like, I want to be that guy. Like a Joe Coy, but I sit. You know what I mean?
I feel like people are going to like go back and listen to this interview in 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever, when that big thing hits.
Oh, I hope so.
And this will be like prophetic, you know, like
It will be. It will, because I know it's going to happen. It's so weird. I told my wife, after I put out this special, I told her, because I was only expecting, the goal was, so everybody knows the goal, to do 120,000 views in a year, 10 a month, 10K a month. And that's respectable.
just on the YouTube special.
And that's respectable.
Yeah.
That would have helped ticket sales. And she goes, what do you think is going to get you to that next level? I said, everything's a step. But I go, I will reach that now because I've already seen this movie. It's so weird. I've already visualized it. I've already seen it, what's going to happen. So I know it's going to happen.
What do you mean?
I've seen me selling out venues. I've seen me at the pinnacle of act. I'm going to be one of the greatest comedians ever. I'm going to be one of the greatest actors. I'm going to be one of the greatest business guys. I've already seen it. I visualized it. I dreamed it. I don't know. It just seems so clear. It's like this is just getting me there, but I've already seen it happen. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's almost like I lived it already, but I just got to get there again. I don't know. It's so clear.
Wow.
Like this right here is just like, oh, I know it's going to happen. I'm going through everything I got to go to get there, but I already know it's going to happen.
I love this so much.
It's crazy. And even the special, I go, even if it does 120,000 the first year, that will help me move so many more tickets because those are true fans that will come out to your shows and tell other people.
You're on pace to crush that.
Oh, I'm on pace. Yeah. My first month, I may do 75, 80,000.
Yeah.
You know? And then with YouTube, you know about it just picks up.
It's going to get into the algorithm. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll get into, I call it the matrix. Once it gets into the matrix, it's over.
Yeah.
Once you become a YouTube recommended and they put you on their front page, lights out, it's over.
That's what happened to my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I know.
That was like 2018, 19. I went from, I gained 108,000 subscribers in 2019.
See?
Because every single time, whether you had seen one of my videos or not, I was always on your homepage.
And I've gone up this month, like in 2.5 weeks, 23,000 people in 2.5 weeks. It's just rolling, man.
Have you been on the website Social Blade?
No.
Oh, I'm going to show this to you.
What is it?
It predicts out like you're going to hit this many subscribers on this date and this many.
Is it accurate?
It's pretty accurate based on the growth you're currently receiving.
Oh, I would love to see that.
Yeah. So like my Clips channel, it was like you're going to hit 50,000 subscribers. I think it was by like May.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kept like getting more and more and more subscribers.
Great.
I'm going to hit it today.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I started the year with 25,000 subscribers on that channel.
Yeah.
Now at 50,000.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
so
amazing.
Anybody that's listening to this, watching this, you need to go check out Michael's special.
Please do, because
I never thought,
and it's because I never thought I would see what I just saw in the last 2 years. And I'd break down my life. I break down the pandemic. I break down everything. But it's not a pandemic special. It's my life.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so funny. And like I said, I believe it's one of the best specials you'll see. And then, like,
it's so good.
It is. And I don't want to. And the only reason I'm confident about it now is because I've seen the result. I've seen the comments. And when I did a huge radio show in Philadelphia, when I had so many, because that show is like the Howard Stern of that town. So many of their audience was like, you totally undersold this. You could have had so many more people. Because I was like, I just want people to watch it. Because I funded it myself. And they'll go, yo, you just need to come out and say it's great. Just say, it's great.
Yeah.
And they go, say, you will laugh from beginning. I guarantee you will laugh from beginning. And so now I'm like, okay, I've seen the evidence where it's like that. I've seen the comments where it's like that. I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it.
I can't wait to see your show tonight.
Yeah, man. I can't wait for you to come out.
So I end every interview with the
Yes.
same question because I love gratitude. I don't think I asked you this. I don't think I was asking this question when you were on the show last time. I say out loud every morning and every night 3 things I'm grateful for. I end every interview with the same question. So what are 3 things in your life?
Oh, I say it every morning,
that
every
you're
night too.
grateful
Oh,
for?
it's
I love it.
It's my wife, it's my kids, and it's my all the family around me. Like, it's all about family to me.
Yeah.
Like, because without them, I'm nothing. So if I don't give gratitude towards them, because they are the rock of everything. Everything happens because of them. Because I could shoot this special, I could go out every night because my wife is holding it down at home with my kids. If I didn't have my kids, I wouldn't have the material I have, the father stuff I would have. If I didn't have my parents, who are a big part of my stand-up special, I wouldn't have it. If I didn't have my wife's family that's always there to watch the kids when me and my wife have to do something, then I couldn't do a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know? So everything revolves around my family, and I give gratitude every morning. I say each person's name, and I give gratitude towards them, because without them, I'm nothing.
I love that so much. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, man.
Thanks for coming by. I can't wait to see your show tonight.
You bet.